Hi guys. If I can't move this around. Oh, come on. There we go. Move this to here so I can see what's happening with the ends. And then open this up here, make sure everything's copacetic, if that's a word. Is it working? You can do it. I don't know. Do you see what it says? It says it's offline. Alright, let's try to reload that. Copacetic. Okay, it's working. I was just too fast. Really fast on the draw that time. Okay, I'm going to try to leave this somewhere. Maybe I can follow along. Okay, and I'm going to say hello. There. That's me from another channel that I have that I post things for just whatever. It's nothing really important. I don't know now. I'm just having some problems here. Okay. Focus. Breathe. I can't believe of all this stuff that I have on here, nothing is going to work for this. You know what? This is going to work. No, it's not. Okay. Maybe that'll work. I'll try to follow along. If anyone wants to pop in here. I don't know if they want to or not. Okay, so I have this straight for me. Let me make it straight for you guys. All right. So this is for Art for Everyone. This is kind of a little series that I'm doing basically for kids or adults who aren't super adept at art but like art and can follow instructions and do things like that. So I was watching one of my friends who's a fellow YouTuber, and she posted some art that I thought was really awesome. I love how she minimalized the forms, and that's something that I have a really hard time doing. I want to go somewhere between cartoon and hyper-realistic, and it just looks freakish. It's hard for me to get that, just to distill things down to their basics. And she did such an exquisite job with it. I was so happy to see the video. So I wanted to show some of the things that she did in her video and maybe help spread this, what I thought was really delightful. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to work on is the easiest, or are the easiest things, which were birds. She had like a clothesline, and she had some birds on there. Somebody, oh, I tell you what. Okay, it never fails. As soon as I go live, my friend Reggie has to call immediately, right in the middle of it. Doesn't matter what, when, who, why. I think he just gets the spider sense. It's like, oh, you're doing a live feed here? Let me try to blow up your phone. Anyway, let me get back to where I was. And that's why I don't like being interrupted in the middle of my live feed, because it takes me out of what I'm thinking. Now I got to get back into it. And in between, I'm talking about it and wasting everyone's time. So, birds on a wire. How does she do? Okay, there was like this part here, and then the wing part, anything like that. You basically have a wing shape, a body shape, and then just the tails. You're not going to be able to see the feet so much. They could actually be tucked in under the feathers. And don't overdo the head. Some people are going to want to put, you know, and then put a beak, and then by the time you get done, it's just starting to look like a strange species. I mean, you could do that if you wanted to, but this is about minimal forms. This is just going to be a very rustic approach to what's going on, because then we're going to color this with watercolor. So there's the bird practice. So I'm not wasting paper. Let's flip this. Imagine this isn't here. Now the next thing she had was the posts for the clothesline. And this is really easy. The secret to this is just not being super precise, right? It's best, I'm going to do that again, just to go in short strokes, because inevitably they're never going to line up perfectly. And it's that little difference, it's that break in the line that really makes it look like a post, because then it looks like the wood's starting to peel off, and you can just make some, looks like maybe some short lightning strokes. Maybe that's too much if we're trying to go minimal. Let me try this again. See, I went against my own advice. So let's try again. Let's make a post. And this isn't one you got at like Home Depot. This is, you cut this yourself. Maybe there's a few limbs, the remains of limbs, stumpy parts, I guess. There, that's a post. And you make one on the other side, you know, and then do our birds. So it's going to go something like that. The next thing she had in there were flowers and plants and stuff, and she had something that looked like laurel. You can see how this goes. Get a little bit smaller as you go toward the top. Of course, you could be go a little slower, be a little bit more careful, a little bit more precise. And if you're going to color these in, of course, you want to leave room on the leaves to actually put color. So this foreshortened part here, probably should have done it in thinner ink, but you know, it's okay. We're not being judged. We're just having fun, making these shapes and getting ready to color them in. So that's a nice plant shape. She also had some flowers, and the flowers are a little bit more technical. Of course, you have your little shapes like that, and you can practice a bunch of those. And I would, if you're not used to making flowers, just do that. You know, you make a curvy road, something you can fly off of, and then you just put these little, I'm not even sure what it is. It's like a moon shape or a teardrop shape, anything that's kind of elongated. Let's see, and you're going to get that, and you can do lots of those. So that's pretty easy thing to draw. And then the very tops of the flowers, that's going to be a little bit more technical. Now these aren't facing straight at you. The tendency for people to do is a flower that's just pointing straight at you. So you have to imagine, and I'm going to draw this in kind of temporary so you guys can picture what's going on. So it's kind of elongated so that it looks like it's pointing upward. So how you do that is the petals that are closest to you are going to be a little bit shorter. Kind of like that. Looks like a little bit of a windmill. That's basically the shape that you're going for. So let's practice that. If I can find a piece of blank paper. Got a flower shape, a curvy road, or pointy teardroppy things. Maybe it's a surfboard, might be, or an eye lid shape. And now these petals. Now you don't want them to be perfect boxy looking things, right? That's a beautiful flower. You see how it looks like it's pointing upward? Now if I tilted this flower this way so you could see it straight on, it looks something like this. And then as you rotate it away from you, so you're tilting it that way, the petal in front gets shortened, petal in back gets shortened. You see how it kind of made that, flattened itself out. So it went from a circle like this to a circle like that to something flat like that. And you can kind of feel the rotation there as it's going around. So if you're drawing these flowers and you want to make them look really convincing, you're going to want to kind of follow that general shape. and then you can color those in. So now we have our birds shape. I'm going to do a better bird shape. Our posts shape, our plant shape, and our flower shapes. So we have a number of elements, and you can practice those like I've done. I've never done a picture like this before. So now I'm going to, on a practice piece of paper, I'm going to try to put all these things together in a nice way. So I think the first thing I want to start with is this clothesline here and the bird shapes. And maybe one little bird over here. And now the post shapes. And don't worry about the bottom here because we're going to draw flowers and stuff around it. There we go for the post shape. And when you draw the line around here, make it a little bit thicker, like it's been wrapped around a few times, and give it a little bit of a curve. And you can curve it down or up or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Probably want to curve it upward a little bit since the perspective is from the bottom up, but I don't think anyone's going to call you out on your perspective in this picture. Let's see, I'll do it on this side so you can see the difference in how these posts appear just by changing them a little bit like that. There we go. So we have our birds, we have our posts. There we go. All right. Now our plant shapes. So down here, and that's where we're kind of hiding in the bottom part. This is my practice, so it's basically so I can see the shapes. Whenever I go in and actually do the coloring book page, I'm going to go in with the smaller pen so that the strokes aren't as wide, don't take up as much space, and people have more room to color in. And drawing those little eyelid shapes. Just a little bit of practice, kind of composing a little bit. Those flowers look pretty rough. Maybe they're exotic, something you've never seen before. Something that's orchidy. Is that a word? Orchidy? It is now. And then some more of those things in there. And then maybe some little bit of cloud looking stuff there. Some grassy textures in the background, something to indicate there may be something back there. It's just too blurry to see. And that will be our coloring book page layout. So now I have a nice piece of watercolor paper. And I want to put my practice piece, or my rough draft, if you will, up there. And now I'm going to be even more careful this time. And you know what? I may want to do this in pencil to begin with. So I'm going to grab my pencil and then really lightly try to go in here. So post. Just kind of roughing in those posts. Okay, now these bird shapes. And the great thing about pencil is you can average out your strokes. So if your first stroke doesn't hit the spot you need, you can try again and keep trying, and eventually the average of those tries will be exactly what placement you're looking for. And then you can just erase that work, and it looks like you did it your first try. This bird's got a giant head. Who knows, maybe it's fluffing its head out a little bit. And I think up here I'm going to try to put a bird in here, which I don't even know what that is. Let's take it out. I didn't practice a flying bird, so you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to go that far. So I've got my 3 birds in there. Let's drop these posts in. I'm trying to keep this picture under 25 minutes. All right, and then our close-up plants. And so the rough draft process, it probably should go a little faster. So you don't want to be as precise. You know, you don't want to, the time you take to do your rough draft is actually adding to the time it takes to make the picture. And if you spend as much time on your rough draft as you do your actual picture, then you're kind of, you're just adding too much time to it. Ultimately, your rough draft is just that. It's rough. But then when you go in, you see, you try to do it a little bit nicer and take your time. Do it with something that you can erase, because invariably you will make a mistake, like I did 5 seconds into this. This one looks like it's folded up a little bit. This is going to be so fun to color. As soon as I watched, and I'll post a link to her channel down at the bottom. And if you're watching, you already know who you are, because this looks just like your piece. So I want to be sure to give you credit. I need those things that makes this look like wood, maybe some knot holes. And now flowers. Went up too far. If you practice these a lot, you can change the direction and really give yourself a chance for some variety. And if it doesn't look right with the pencil, remember I said you can average out your strokes, and then when you go over it with something permanent, you'll have it exactly where you want it to be. And maybe a flower. That negative space was bothering me a little bit. I have a tendency to want to fill everything in, and I need to realize that I can use the blank space. So Okay, so now, so I don't smudge my pencil work everywhere, now we're going through the ink. This is where it gets a little serious. You know, my birds look funny. They're kind of compelling. And since that one had such a big head, I decided I'd just take that down a little bit. That looks okay. I'm not following the lines exactly. It's just basically making sure, you know, what I like I keep, what I don't like I just ignore. I can really kind of study how these leaves connect to one another. And just some little extra things there. This is very relaxing. I imagine coloring it will be really relaxing too. Alright, I like how that's turning out. Watercoloring in this will be really nice too. I just want to get this coloring book page kind of done. I drew a Bigfoot in dry erase. If you follow my Instagram, you may have seen the picture. I did the video on my Facebook channel, so if you want to check that out, it's there. And see how that flower looks really nice now. Put little lines in there, because this thing didn't start out as petals. It started out all wadded up inside that flower. When it unfurled, the creases of that should be apparent. And the top of that's pretty heavy, so needs to have a meaty stem. Pretty meaty stem. Yeah, and people really love closing doors. There. Just a lot of pen work and pencil work and time to hang out with you guys on my Saturday before I have to go to work. Make sure I'm not running over my time. Okay, I'm running over my time. Can't go any faster than I can go, right? But I'm probably going to continue this work off camera, and I'll upload it when it's finished to my YouTube, my Facebook page, if you guys want to check it out there. Probably not going to have time to finish all this. I'm going to give it a try. Let's just do it. Let's commit. I can do it. You can do this. But don't mess it up. Like, Mr. Red, Mr. Red, you can do it. You can do it. I tell myself that all the time. And you know what? Turns out a lot of times I can do it. And when I can't, I have to figure out why. And then sometimes that helps me figure out that I can, I just got to do it differently. When I went to business school, I was in college, I took the hardest math class I could possibly take. I mean, this thing was a bastard. Finite math, dealing with statistics and probabilities and matrices, which was really interesting. I've always loved that stuff, but some of the calculations take, you know, dozens and dozens of steps, and if you make any of those wrong, it throws everything else off. So it's hard to get a right answer. It's the short of that. But I didn't give up. I figured out what I was doing wrong, and you guys won't believe what it is that I was doing wrong. But I figured out what it was, and then once I fixed that problem, I passed the class. So what was I doing wrong? Well, you know how in high school and grade school you're told to figure it out by hand, you know, calculators are cheating. Well, in finite math, if you don't have a calculator or a slide rule or an abacus or something like that, there's just no way. I did get problems correct by hand, but it was miraculous, and I had to do them several times, which takes up, I mean, one problem you could 2 hours doing one problem. Rotating a matrix is no easy task. So the short of that story is, if you're ready to give up, just try to look at the problem and see what things are a hindrance, and if it's anything you can do something about, like get a tool, a calculator, something that can help you, then do that. There's no shame. Since I had this knot hole over here, I didn't want to put the same one over here, so I just moved it down a little bit, and then I'll erase that one out. And at the top, you see I put a little notch in there. I should probably do that up here too. All right, I did it. Nope, I didn't. There's one more over here. You guys said, nope, there's one more. Hello, one more's over there. Thought for sure I could do this in 25 minutes. All right, and then once you have everything inked in, of course, you go through and you just erase out all your pencil marks and mar your surface with a nasty little smudge mark. That's alright, it'll look okay. I'll get that off of there. This is 140-pound paper. I can cut it off with an X-Acto knife and it's okay. See, once I get all those marks out, I probably should have used a more indelible ink. This is a gel ink and it hangs on the surface a little bit, so it might smudge. It's okay. I think it's going to add to the rusticness of this. Yeah, I like how it's adding to the... I can't believe that happened. Oh, of course, now it's going to stay there forever. I'll watercolor the crap out of that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is color this, but right now that's a coloring book page inspired by my friend Let me find out who that is while I'm in the video so you guys will know. I'm going to pull up her channel and you guys can see her page. YouTube. This is the original right here. Get to the end. You see how pretty that is? See those birds just... Her birds are better than mine ever were. So check this video out. You guys have to go to this video. Her channel is Eloise Art. That's ED. Can you guys see? Blow this part up. Show her channel here. There. Check that out. Check out that page. Check out that video. It's beautiful. I love it. It inspired me to do this, and I hope you will follow through on that. Thank you, Eloise Art, for the inspiration. Really appreciate that, and thank you guys for joining me for this short video. Longer than I thought it was going to be, but still in 30 minutes. I'm going to watercolor this and see how that goes. So until next time, you guys, as always, take care.